Hello, it's Wendy and Dave from Be Do Learn Have Live, and it's been a few weeks before since we posted a video, so we're sort of doing a catch up, and we're going to talk today about our mastermind that we were on recently, which is called Global Mastermind
Program.
Yeah.
B.
I'm thinking of international, but that's the global part. Yeah, so and that's run through Success Resources America. So we've just finished our third GMP, Global Mastermind Program, and we were luckily in Maui for this particular one, so it was absolutely fantastic. We spent a few days ahead of time for getting to see the island and just hanging out and enjoying Hawaii, and then we spent 4 days actually GMPing, masterminding, listening to mentors and things. What we did was we rented an Airbnb with some friends who were GMP friends, and spent a few days going around the island, investigating, scuba diving, and just hanging out. And it was really, really awesome. And we were there for Thanksgiving too, for American Thanksgiving. So we had a nice Thanksgiving dinner with our American friends too around the table, and that was absolutely wonderful. So, did you enjoy Maui?
I certainly enjoyed Maui.
What did you like best?
Well, actually, I enjoyed the sea life. So the scuba diving was really nice for me to get involved with, but also the snorkeling, which is the first time I've really done snorkeling as it's supposed to, rather than just splashing around with my face in the water. This is actually an environment where I can see things like fishes and underwater lava streams and coral and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty cool. And I swam with a turtle, which is awesome. And I was able to do that with our friends who were out there with us, so that was pretty cool, doing it with a few people, so it was a little safer, but as well as just being nice to talk to people about what we've seen or what we're looking at and point things out. It was a lot of fun, actually.
And so from a previous video, Dave talked about doing his scuba diving, so luckily one of our GMP friends is actually a master diver, so he decided to take a few of the people out and do a dive one day. So you want to just touch on that quick?
The dive?
Yeah, your dive.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, I am very new to scuba diving. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And we were lucky to be able to go out and rent some equipment from one of the dive shops. And we end up, just from being limited on time and just other resources that were going on there and having to be dropped off and picked up, what we did was actually, this is my new mic head. We went out and we actually did a shore dive. So we went to one of the local areas that was pointed out as being a fairly nice area to go and look. We walked in from the coast, swam out a little bit, and then went round sort of like a protrusion of rocks. I wouldn't really say it was a coral reef, but it was more of an outcropping of rocks that had coral and lots of fishies and the like around it. It was also fairly deep, but there was openings to explore and navigate through, and it was actually really cool. So for me to do this as my first real dive after being qualified, I felt quite honored and had a lot of gratitude for it, as well as being able to enjoy the clear, crisp water that was filled with nice fishes and lovely and warm, which was completely the opposite of my training, where it was actually dark, dismal, very silty. So every time anybody touched the base, no one else could see for about 40-50 feet for about 10 minutes or so until it cleared up. There was a lot of current. There really wasn't a whole lot to see other than the man-made platforms, plinths, and statues and stuff that were down there, which was actually pretty cool and interesting. But going out in somewhere like Maui, it was pretty awesome to go out and experience. So that was nice. And certainly, and I was out for actually my longest single dive yet. So the whole group of us were out for, I think, pretty much about an hour, spot on, for actual dive time. And then there was obviously the prep and the post cleanup and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really cool. Yeah, so totally enjoyed that.
Good experience then. So yeah, we spent some time. We went to go to the top of the crater and watch the sunrise with our friends, and it was a really good time. So that aside, we're going to talk about masterminding next, which is what we actually went to Maui for, and we were very, very grateful that it was being held in Maui. So GMP, they have, it's a limited number of people really. It's this group is about 32 people from all over, and just get together and mastermind on the subjects that we actually want to achieve or discuss within our businesses, or not necessarily within our businesses, but any other thing that crops up. One of the days we had mentors speaking, so we had Mark Cusick, is he a hypnotist?
He is a hypnotist. That's kind of his main thing.
Yeah, and we had Aaron Young, who's Unshackled owner. So we had quite a few mentors come in and talk about how to do things right, and just point us in the right direction of certain things that might not have clicked yet, or whatever. We broke up into groups, and we had masterminding in those groups. So each person took a turn, or a whole hour, just really saying, look, this is what I want, what can you do for me? And we just throw ideas at this person, and then just gets written down, and we bring the paper home with us and look at it and go, oh yeah, that's what I need to do next. And we have action steps too. What else did we do? We had a luau. So we had a luau one evening, which was really awesome. So that was fantastic. And we also did another trip, which was on a catamaran, which was a nice sort of sunset cruise. But we also did a give back day, which is part of GMP, is what attracted Dave to it, I think, wasn't it really? Was the actual giving back to do something for the local community. So this time we actually made all of our group put together 117 bikes for kids. So we wouldn't put the whole thing together, but they would just came in bits like you put the seat on and the pedals on and the handlebars and mud guards and things like that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, there was a whole variety of bikes.
Yeah, it's cool.
So what was the deal with that was that there's a lot of kids, as there are all around the world, in Maui or in Hawaii as general, that don't or are probably not fortunate enough to necessarily guarantee getting presents for Christmas. So one of the local business owners who is now doing well for himself grew up with that situation of realizing that, I think he ended up with one Christmas, as the story went, where he just didn't get any presents. And so he thought, okay, you know what, when I grow up, I'm going to do something about this. And so what he does is every year he buys a whole lot of wholesale bicycles, and then he's teamed up with an owner of a bike store who basically puts these bikes together and then helps him deliver them out. So what's happening is we got involved, and actually this was in combination with the Boys and Girls Club of Maui. And so I think it was about half of these bikes that were being made were actually going to go to the Boys and Girls Club for the children they have. And so we were, as GMP members supporting the Boys and Girls Club, we went and built a whole whack of these bikes in an afternoon, which were then able to go off and be given out later on. So because the bike store people know that we're not certified bike mechanics, they think the plan was we were all building them, they showed us how to stick them together, but they were going to go around and just double check after the fact that they were done. Now,
it's pretty impressive.
From what I'd seen, I would say that most of the groups that were building these bikes actually knew what they were doing, and so the bikes would have been pretty much able just to go out. Now, of course, with bicycles, they all want a little bit of tweaking anyway, but I really don't think there was a whole lot of work needed to them after the fact. But that was awesome for us as a group to just be able to go all out and build a whole whack of bikes and look at them and just kind of go, you know what, these are all going to a great cause. They're going to help produce a whole whack of smiles on the day, and yeah, it was just a nice feeling. But it was also the teamwork, the camaraderie of everybody getting together for a single cause, which is I think one of the big other ideas that sort of feeds into the business mentality of, if you're going to have a group of people, make sure you're all focused on the end goal. And that's what this was about, and it was really good. So it's been like every other event we've done, that the helping out part has been pretty cool. That's what I think it did attract you to the GMP side of things when you signed up for it too. So the first GMP we did in San Diego, we went to Father Joe's village, actually it's called, and it's just blocks and blocks of homeless shelters, and we all did various things for maintenance around some of the buildings. So that was really cool. And the second time we went to San Antonio. And we built wheelchairs for veterans. Yep. That was fun. So we've got one more GMP to do, which we don't know when that is yet. There's some coming up next year, obviously, but we don't know which one we're going to be doing yet, but that will be something we'll be talking about.
But it was a really, really great event. Perfect location. We met so many more people that we've made friends with from GMP, and we've got loads of friends now all over North America, really, that we can contact and go and hang out with if we need to, and leave a mastermind with, or pop in and see them, because we all have such a good something in common, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the business is our business way of thinking, certainly one thing in common, but just being on the right mindset, because that's sort of what a lot of the group is about too.
That's right.
But just as a little recap, the whole thing with a mastermind, as determined from Napoleon Hill, is that it's the gathering of 2 or more people who are putting their minds together for a common purpose. And the idea is that by having 2 minds together, or 2 or more, a third mastermind is then created, which comes out of the universe, as it were. And the way that works in reality is that if there's 2 people talking to each other, and there's a specific goal that's trying to be achieved, as one person suggests or comes up with a comment, the next person hears that, thinks about it, puts their take on, spits back a different idea, and then the idea is that this goes backwards and forwards, rather than 2 people sitting there individually writing ideas on paper, don't communicate. They're only limited to themselves. But as soon as the comment or the mastermind piece is put out into open conversation, then there's more information that comes from it, because people will see, hear, feel different things from what others are saying. And so in our individual groups, it's not 2 people. They have, in this particular case, it was groups of 6 for the most part. And everybody gets an hour, and the idea is that in that hour, say if it was me, I would sit down and I would ask my specific question, at which point everybody, all the other 5 members of that group, are all now working on my behalf to answer my question. And as they come up and ask questions or interject comments, everybody else in the group hears those, and then other conversations start from around that, and that what's ended up with at the end is a slew of potential answers or ways to move forward, and some more direction. And the idea is that as we're taking turns, we all provide our own specific insights, experiences.
Hi there.
Unfortunately, the phone cut out on us and stopped the video prematurely, but we were pretty much at the end anyway. So
what I've done is I've put in some pictures of Maui within this video, so you can see some of the things that we did, and also some pictures from GMP, which shows how awesome the whole program actually is. So if you're interested in doing something fascinating with your life and traveling to different places, I highly suggest GMP, because it's just a really wonderful event to go to. So I think that's it for today.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.